Hello everyone, this is Martin, and today I want to show you the process of setting up a malicious MCP service, or how a malicious MCP service could affect your ecosystem basically, right? So I have Claude Desktop here, and I have a local MCP server, which is super basic. I'm going to show you this real quick. So this is basically a Python script, and it's called 9.py, and it's called direct poisoning, right? And so you simply initiate the MCP service. So you need dependencies and stuff. So this is why I'm running this in a virtual environment. And I will show you this in a second, how you run this in a virtual environment, basically. But basically, you define a tool within that MCP server config, and that only has, in my scenario now, a couple of messages, like nothing really malicious at that point, right? Like, so this is just a few messages. The problem is really that a lot of people will find MCP servers on GitHub, for example, and then just download them, run them, execute that code, and that could poison your whole ecosystem because you don't know what's in that MCP service or in this MCP server unless you do a code review. But what I want to show you real quick is basically when you go to Claude, you have this, you can go to settings, and then in settings you go to developer, and this is basically where the MCP servers which Claude has access to are being defined. And this is when you click on edit config, that brings you basically to this file, which is a Claude _ desktop _ config.json. And in there, the MCP servers, the local MCP servers here are being defined, right? And you can see here that, so we ignore this one. This is the desktop commander, and we're not talking about this in this video. We are focusing on this one here, right? Like, and this is basically, so all you need to give it is like a command, and that's basically the command which is getting invoked, right? And it's called, in our scenario, launch -mcp 9.shell. Now you will be asking, hey, why don't you put the Python script there directly? And the reasoning is simple. When Claude opens its, when Claude issues that command, it opens a new bash, and that bash does not have the Python dependencies installed. So what I've done is I created a virtual Python environment, and in this virtual Python environment here, as you can see this is called my-env, right? And in there, I have already installed the dependencies, which the MCP server requires, right? So this is why I need to make sure, first of all, that I source it, right? And then I run the command. So you can see I'm calling this bash script, but then the bash script will basically source that virtual Python environment, tell it where to run it from, and then actually run the command, right? Like this is the reason. And once this is all done, basically, you can come over here to your Claude desktop. You can click this icon, and then you see which MCP servers are up and running. If they're not, if there's a coding mistake or something, you will get errors. But in this case here, you can see there is a message of the day tool within that MCP server. So I can now say, like, call or tell me what is the message of the day, right? So I do this, and now it's basically running this, but it requires me to have confirmation, which I say allow once, right? So it's running the message of the day tool, and then it basically says, like, well, there was nothing really in there, right? Which is kind of correct, because there is a name random is not defined, right? Like, so in this specific code here, I have not the random function defined, right? Like, which is it is calling here, and then the user will get nothing back basically. So this MOTD function is not basically defined, and this is why it cannot here. Look down here, return message. It's calling the random function, and the random function is basically not defined, and this is why nothing came back. But it didn't error, right? Like in the first place, it did not error out or anything like this. You can see it clearly called that tool. Now that is already enough. That is already enough to cause havoc in that ecosystem. And why is that? Because it is obviously running that tool, and even though the original purpose of this tool could not be invoked with the random function, there could be now a prompt injection in there, right? And the prompt injection will then make once this tool is executed, will make it do something which was not intended. And we're looking at this in the next video. But for now, I just wanted to show you this, like how the interaction between MCP client, MCP server works, and where it's being defined and where it's being configured. I hope this makes sense, and I see you in the next video.